I'm Roberta, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make a delicious eggplant dish called fish-fragrant eggplant. Now, fish-fragrant seasoning is a classic from Sichuan, and it has nothing to do with fish. Well, that's not quite true. It has no fish in it. It's a combination of seasonings that the Sichuanese love to use with seafood. Sometimes it's translated as fish-flavoured eggplant or fish-flavoured sauce, which is misleading. Sometimes it's even called mock fish or mock seafood sauce. So what is it exactly? It's a combination of quite punchy flavourings, as Sichuanese, as Sichuanese food is known for: soy, black vinegar, sesame oil, shaojing, and some of that beautiful chili sauce with the oil and the sediment. That's often combined with garlic, ginger and green onions. And as I said, those are classic flavours that go with seafood in Sichuanese cuisine. But it's also used with pork, hot and cold, with chicken, with cold cuts, and quite often with eggplant. So we're going to do it today with some of these beautiful little Jap slipper baby eggplants, call them what you will. So we're just going to cut the end off, get that out of the way, and I like to cut it into about 3 pieces, depending on the length. Sometimes they only need 2. And then we're cutting it into batons. Generally, the narrow end I'm cutting into 4. This thicker part I might cut in half and then into 3. We want them roughly equal size because we want them to cook evenly. And we're just going to toss that in some tapioca starch to crisp it up. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's crisp, sometimes it's not. I like the crispness of the tapioca starch. As with any stir fry, we need to get everything else ready before we start. So we have some ginger and some garlic. The only other thing we need is some green onion. And with the green onions, I like to cut them in half just through the stem part, and we're going to keep the whites and the greens separately for this. So we'll chop the white up into the pale green part and use that in our stir fry, and then we'll chop the dark green part and keep that separate and just use a little bit of that for a garnish at the end. So that's enough of the pale green. That's going in at the same time as our garlic and onion. So it's a really good idea to put all of that in, garlic and onion, garlic and ginger. Good idea to put everything together that's going into the wok at the same time, because once we start stir frying, it all happens quite quickly. Same with our sauces. I've already got those all together there. So now just a little chop of the darker green onion, which we'll put aside to sprinkle over the top at the end. Now, our fish-fragrant eggplant has a couple of steps. First of all, we're going to toss the eggplant in the tapioca starch and deep fry it. I find the least messy way to do this is in a plastic bag. Tapioca's in there, eggplant's in there, just give it a good shake around and it can just sit for a few minutes. That's going to be deep fried, drained, and then we're going to wok fry the fried eggplant with our fish fragrant seasonings, serve it scattered with our green onion. So easy. You could have everything prepped up to this stage and then just toss it together when you're ready to serve. Now we want the oil at about 170, 180. Easy way to test, put in the handle of a wooden spoon. If you get those bubbles appearing immediately, it's good to go. I've taken the eggplant out of the plastic bag now because I want to get it into that oil all together quite quickly. Dusting off some of the excess, in it goes, sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Look, you might want to do this in 2 batches depending on the size of your saucepan. It's not going to take long, so I think 2 batches might be best unless you've got a bigger fryer. Basically 1 eggplant at a time. So in with our second batch. You could deep fry the eggplant ahead of time because it's going to be reheated in the sauce anyway. So this is another step that you could get out of the way if you wanted to. So once our eggplant's fried, get our wok nice and hot, in with some oil, in with our ginger, garlic and the pale part of the green onion. Give that a little bit of a stir around. Then in with our eggplant, in with our sauce. Watch those chilies, they will hit you in the back of the throat. Turn that down a little bit now and just give that a good toss around. If the eggplant was cooked earlier, we're going to toss it long enough to heat it through, although this dish is beautiful at room temperature too. If it's straight out of the oil, as this is, that's all you need. Coat it and onto our serving plate. Don't stir it up too much because you don't want to break up those battens of eggplant. So here we are, our beautiful fish fragrant eggplant. Oh, I can't wait to taste this. Yum, yum, yum. Sichuanese chili oil gives it such a beautiful red colour as well. And you don't need all of that green onion, but just a little bit for contrast I think is nice. I'm not going to try and eat it on camera because it's really hot. We're serving this with our pippies. I love it just with some steamed rice for a simple lunch or dinner on its own. It's really great with anything. Enjoy.